Next on HBO. Take a peek behind the scenes of the new courtroom thriller starring Demi Moore and Alec Baldwin. You've got a front row seat to The Juror, HBO First Look. Something Special's on next. Their instinct is to acquit. You're just waiting for somebody like you to march in there and give them the excuse to do it.
I can't.
You will.
And she's kind of shy with men, isn't comfortable, would almost rather avoid it. And then she finds somebody that she's attracted to and is completely devastated.
He falls in love with his subject.
You're in danger, and your son is in danger.
And like the kind of psychological drama of this man, who could be anybody, could be you, who is so seductive and charming, totally coming in and fooling and overwhelming someone's entire existence.
It's terror that teaches me my shape, Annie.
What are we doing here?
She has to stand up against this evil.
You're gonna come back here and you're gonna destroy me? Well, that is not going to happen.
In this case, it turns out that good citizenship leads to somebody trying to kill you.
It becomes, you know, the beginning of a ride of absolute torment and terror. It's about a woman, a single mother who's called for jury duty on a mob trial, who gets chosen by them to convince the other jury members to vote not guilty so that they can get an acquittal.
No, just questioning the frame as to whether we're totally happy with it.
And who's tormented and threatened with the potential loss of her son's life if she doesn't cooperate. I think our instinct is to believe that our judicial system is pure and honorable and will protect us. But it really isn't always about the truth.
Annie Laird, I bought some of your pieces on Mark Cordell.
Hi.
Mark Cordell comes along and buys quite a few pieces of her art that she's been struggling, and if she could, that would be what she'd like to do all the time.
This guy is somebody who I think is like a rogue operator for the mafia. I guess like a subcontractor. And I would be a subcontractor who helps them to spy, to select someone in a jury and use that person to tamper with the jury of a case of theirs. And I choose Demi as the person that I'm going to tamper with.
Annie, it doesn't have to only be a dream.
He comes along, he buys her art, charms her, seduces her, only to drop a bomb that he's really there for something else.
Yesterday, I didn't even know you yesterday.
But I was here.
You're kidding, right?
Annie, listen to me now. You're in danger, and your son is in danger. Don't get up. Someone is going to contact you and tell you to say 2 words, 2 precisely. Do you know what they are? Have you guessed yet? No? Not guilty.
One hotel, take one, Mark.
Background action.
Okay, a nice lively crowd, please. And action. Now, ma'am, I want you to understand that this may be a lengthy trial and that you would be sequestered during deliberation.
I think that she's at a point in her life where she's a little bored, and so she looks for it as a possibility of a distraction that could be maybe a little exciting because it is a mob trial. I am a single mother, Your Honor, and I'm trying to be a sculptor. I have, well, a job all day, and when I get home, I take care of my son.
So you would like to serve?
Yes, I would. I think for her, there's kind of a romantic notion at the moment. But it is a little bit exciting. I need a little excitement.
The initial part of the film, we see her in somewhat of a naive way saying to her son that this is her duty to do something like this, and really not understanding full well what kind of influence this is going to have on her life.
Now, do you understand what our strategy was in the courtroom yesterday? What was our strategy yesterday?
Louis Buffano didn't order the killing. He's in the mob, maybe a bad guy, but just a figurehead. He doesn't give orders.
But we can't afford the slightest error.
I'll do what I can, all right?
So when the turn happens, there's a deep violation. Somehow the humiliation, the fact that this has been done to them is too private and too personal to reveal to anybody. Because it's a single mother with a son, there's a lot of dynamics that come into play.
They killed his grandson, too. Maybe start thinking about you and, I don't know, I'm only talking to you about responsibility, right? Mm-hmm. They kind of have a friendship relationship. They're buddies as well, yet she's also very much in charge. And there was kind of a looseness in the fact that she's an artist and she's kind of hippie-ish, and in a way they almost dress alike. There's a great scene in the film where we're playing a video game and he's teaching me. It was great because it showed this kind of loving, playful oneness, really connectedness of two people who really only have each other. And in Oliver, there's that need to be the man of the house, but being 12 or 13 years of age, he's not ready for it yet.
I mean, was there compelling evidence, persuasive evidence? Do they want you to think he's guilty? Mom, everybody knows he's guilty. Shh. What's the matter?
The son has almost replaced what a man in her life would be, except obviously without it being a romantic. But he's filling in all those gaps. There's a huge responsibility for a child. She's kind of like negated that part of her life until the teacher appears.
So who is this teacher?
I don't know.
Do you know why he's called the teacher, Mr. DeChico?
Because when you see him, school's out.
You think I'm the teacher, Annie?
Aren't you?
I don't enjoy invading your privacy. If I can keep you scared, I can save your life.
So this story, which is about an oppressor and a victim, also has lots of other overtones. It has the overtone of being a strange, dark, failed love affair.
Don't you talk to me about love and forgiveness. You bastard. You know what? I would kill you if I could.
His flaw is that well, that's hard to say. I mean, his flaw, what's his flaw? The guy's a psycho.
And I am a man of my word.
The teacher is a psychopath, a homicidal maniac. I guess homicidal mania is a flaw.
It's a very troubled character, and someone who has tried to separate himself from society and operate in a way that is above society.
You can't let him drive like that.
You're absolutely right, Annie. You could hurt somebody.
That he's able to set himself aside from the people that he ends up killing. But when he gets involved with, to me, it turns everything upside down.
I think that the reason he chooses her is because she's passionate. She seemed to be the most passionate person. Being an artist, she had a really particular point of view, and she was very passionate. And he wants to use her passion to inspire these other people to ultimately to let this guy go, even though in their hearts they think that he's guilty.
Guilty. Guilty. Not guilty.
Wait a minute. I mean, I'm sorry, but how can anybody think this guy's not guilty? I mean, who voted not guilty? Can I ask?
He encourages her and almost derives this pleasure out of seeing her convince the jury.
The jury is afraid. Their instinct is to acquit. They're just waiting for somebody like you to march in there and give them the excuse to do it.
my character helps to bring out in her the strengths that she would need to do this. She keeps saying from time to time, oh, I can't do this, I don't think I can do this, and he keeps compelling her to try, and he knows that she can succeed. And not only does she succeed, during the course of succeeding, she finds strengths that she didn't know she had.
So there's this whole huge web, and you think that's Louis Buffano?
I don't believe this. You really want us to let this greaseball go free?
But the law says that if they don't prove that Buffano committed the crimes he's charged with, then we've got to set him free. We have to. You want to know what I hate? I hate that you were right. I am stronger. You think that's Louis Buffano?
All right. The teacher advises him. Big deal.
The teacher doesn't advise Buffano.
The jury part of the story and the trial part of the story is minor compared to the conflicts before and afterwards. So it's not a courtroom drama per se, because we don't spend that much time in the courtroom. It's mostly what happens outside of the courtroom.
Juliet. Yeah. When's the last time you slept?
You mean sleep? I just closing my eyes for a second while I'm doing a tracheotomy?
She's an emergency room doctor, best friend to Demi Moore's character, and I'm trying to be strong with her and show her I care for her, all of the things that when you see a friend going away from you and going away from herself, you're trying to get her back.
And action!
Oliver, Hey, what's going on?
What if I were in trouble?
What kind of trouble?
What if I were in really bad trouble?
What is it? Like a man or work or what?
What if I couldn't tell you?
What do you mean if you couldn't tell me? I'm your best friend. You've got to tell me.
So you would tell me?
Of course.
Didn't do that.
Her moral issues are put on the line because somebody is threatening her son's life. And I am able to present another option because I don't have that connection to him. I'm not his mother.
Oh, I don't know. You're right. What you're doing, the way you're handling it, going along with these guys, is much smarter.
Then why did you say?
Because I don't take orders very well. From monsters, I don't take them at all. That's just me.
Well, I think she represents the voice that most of us would believe. You go to the judge. You tell him what's going to do. We go tell this guy. We're going to stand up to this. We're going to fight this.
You're telling me that I'm making a mistake.
I gave you every opportunity to get out of serving on this jury. You have a problem, but you don't think the defendant has a right to hear it. Well, I think you're wrong.
What happened?
We tried it your way, Juliet, and it didn't work out. Now, you've got to promise me that you're going to stay out of our lives.
Promise you what? I'm going to abandon you?
That you're going to keep your mouth shut and stay out of our lives.
My character does not understand the gravity of the situation. I kind of offer a solution, not understanding the weight and what she's carrying.
Because he will hurt you. I don't want to see you get hurt.
Why do you let him do these things?
You cannot say that, well, that will never happen to me. I mean, here's someone who thought that she was just going in to do her civic duty and discovered that all those evils and all the things about that you read in the paper have now totally invaded in her life.
Now it's time to stop being scared.
You know, you do this, and they'll kill my child.
No, they won't. You help us, they won't.
He could stray. He could commit some childish error, and we could lose him. That quick.
She becomes his primary student, his obsession, his love.
I got my eye on her.
She's absolutely trapped.
Are you sure we're not going to have any problem with this woman?
Yeah. Says you can't trust her. Wants her taken out. What do you think, Dad? You think she needs to be taken out?
This is business. Right?
Yeah. Do what you gotta do.
The guy's so out of touch with reality. Because this is a guy who meets a woman, and he does this terrible jury tampering thing with her, and he asks her to ignore that. During the trial, he's saying, well, you and I went on a date, and I seduced you, and then I revealed to you that I really am in the mafia, and I'm tampering with this jury. And After we're done tampering with the jury, forget about that. Because during the date, you know, we had a connection. We had a connection. I know you dug me. The teacher suffers from that chicks dig me kind of thinking.
I'm sorry that you hate me. Because I do love you.
If you're going to play a villain, I guess you might as well go all the way. And I guess this guy's kind of like the Keith Moon of villains.
Everything that we've been through is like a marriage. I did things to protect you and Oliver. I told you if you would trust me, then Oliver would be safe. But if you betrayed me, then no matter what the personal cost to me, Oliver would suffer. Do you remember that? But now Oliver is going to die in the morning. We both know that. And there's nothing we can do to stop that.
I think I see a boy on a bicycle, and he looks an awful lot to me like, hey. Oh, God, no! Who's gonna protect you, Annie? You will. Who's gonna protect you? Then I want you to say it. The teacher will protect me. Say it. The teacher will protect me.
She starts to realize, as much as she hates him for what he's given her, which is that she has learned and she is smarter and stronger, that the chess game really begins when she steps outside of the boundaries that he's designed and takes the action on her own.
I don't want to put you in an unsafe situation. Please just give me the wire. I'll get you such juicy stuff. You could put them all away.
He's a monster. And like most monsters, he commands some respect, but not for long.
Would you like to hear more?
It's a film that becomes very compelling in what goes on with the characters. Alec's character is extremely compelling and fascinating with the levels that go on with his psyche and the decisions that he makes and how he looks at manipulating Demi's character. And Demi's character is especially the way Demi is playing it, is very identifiable and empathetic and someone that you want to see be able to succeed.
And the Annie character really moves from being reliant on what society's way currently of dealing with evil forces and becoming more reliant on simple primal justice, which is represented by the Guatemalan strand of the movie.
Gustavo, do the move, please.
In the script, there's a whole section that takes place in Guatemala, and in looking around for various locations, Mexico seemed to be a good place to start with, and it took actually quite a while to narrow down in on this area that we're in right now, particularly the town that we're nearby, which is Metepec, which worked out great, mainly because of what's in this area is more hacienda and less of the Mayan culture, which is what we wanted to imitate.
Right.
And then
Demi and Alec had never worked together before. They met one another a few times. And so there's always that question, you know, is it all going to work? Is this chemistry going to happen? And it did happen in an extraordinary way. I don't think you can do much better than those two together. The film is about a lot of things, but I think fundamentally it's about justice, because it really is a face-off between good and evil in a very clear way.
It reinforces that through adversity we gain strength, and that we should look at all things, the good and the bad, as a positive element in our life. Because in the end, she overcomes and embraces and becomes a better person.
Don't worry. I'll be with you every step of the way.
No, you won't.
Next on HBO, it's a high-speed race to catch the Khan and his beautiful hostage. Who will win? The cops or the media? Charlie Sheen, Christy Swanson, The Chase. Next on HBO.
Sometimes the most important story is the most difficult to watch.
This is an important time of living. When suffering's controlled, the end of life isn't so horrible.
An America Undercover special, Letting Go, A Hospice Journey, coming in March on HBO. Sometimes there is life in death.
Where can you find triumph over inhumanity?
The picture was grand, and we're very glad to come out on top.
Where can you find the pursuit of dignity?
As an athlete, people adored you. As a man, they didn't pay very much attention to you.
Where can you find courage in the face of adversity?
It was really some hard times I had to go through simply because of one thing, because of the color of my skin.
You can find the pain, the joy, the struggle, and the victory here on HBO.
That's what the American sport's about. We all came to America in different boats, but we're all in the same boat now.
The journey of the African-American athlete. Premieres Monday night at 10 on HBO.
On a campus divided,
In their eyes, we ain't nothing but lower class.
where black meets white,
Apologize to us. Sorry, I'm sorry.
in the pursuit of knowledge and power,
How many people came here to change the world?
most come to learn.
Information is power.
Some learn to hate,
This country doesn't belong to you any longer.
and one learns to kill.
The opening stage of World War III, man.
Omar Epps, Ice Cube, Christy Swanson, and Lawrence Fishburne. Higher Learning. Premieres Saturday night at 8 on HBO.
This February, HBO and executive producer Danny Glover celebrate Black History Month with the HBO original drama, America's Dream. It's a moving trilogy of tales based on short stories about the black experience in 20th century America.
I would say that the thread between them it's the kaleidoscope of life, of people's lives. Whether it's a boy who painted Christ Black, or whether it's a Long Black Song, or whether it's Reunion. That's the link between the three. You want it to be like a film in a sense, but with the values of a film, yet shot on a television level.
God damn it, American movie!
In a Long Black Song based on a Richard Wright story, the time is 1938, rural Alabama. While a hard-working farmer heads into town, his bored wife and young infant are paid an unexpected call from a traveling salesman.
Ain't that something?
No. Ain't you something?
Danny Glover, Tate Donovan, and Tina Lifford star in a story of loneliness and desire.
It's a period where we find the strength of will, of the American will. Richard's writing comes to the basis of survival.
Ain't he got enough? Why you gotta give him everything?
It's a pretty compassionate story, you know. This woman does a kind of tough thing. She betrays her husband in the most painful way possible. And then when he wants to act out his rage about that, she stops him.
Don't listen to it. You're too good for that. You're too strong. You a good man. Don't you let us make you laugh.
In John Henrik Clark's The Boy Who Painted Christ Black, the time is 1948, Georgia.
Oh, my. This is amazing.
A successful principal is faced with a moral dilemma when a student paints a portrait of a black Christ for the state pride competition. Wesley Snipes, Jasmine Guy, and Vanessa Bell Calloway star in a different story of pride and prejudice.
He painted a black Christ.
You what?
Exactly.
Painting Jesus black, the statement, it's not a political statement. It's a spiritual and personal statement. So I think that the fact that this 8-year-old boy has found this gold mine within himself at that age is remarkable, and I think that is what affects Wesley's character so deeply.
I like your painting. Really?
Is it going to be a part of Friday?
No, son.
In Maya D'Angelo's The Reunion, the time is 1958, Chicago. A talented musician is haunted by painful childhood memories when an unwelcome reminder of the past appears.
I am still aching from the hurt that Baker, Georgia, and your family put on me.
Well, that was a long time ago.
Not long enough.
Lorraine Toussaint, Susanna Thompson, and Carl Lumley star in this story of revenge and reconciliation.
This is the musical short story of the three. It's the one, you have a really high dramatic one with Long Black Song, and you have one that's, kind of more of a storybook fable with the kids and with Wesley. And with this, it's really like a musical. No one sings in it, but because of all the music and how it ties into the story, it's like a whole nother texture.
The HBO original drama, America's Dream. It premieres Saturday, February 17th at 10:15 p.m. right here on HBO. Something special's on.
Next on HBO, it's a high-speed race to catch the con and his beautiful hostage. Who will win? The cops or the media? Charlie Sheen, Christy Swanson, The Chase. Next on HBO.
From the people who brought you Stalin and Citizen X, it took 300 years to build an empire, but only one man to destroy it.
I have magic!
Rasputin, coming soon on HBO.
How many threats would it take? How many horrors would you have to see to learn that justice can be fickle? To learn that justice can deceive. Sean Connery, Lawrence Fishburne, Just Cause, coming in March on HBO. He might look innocent, but he's carrying a deadly secret.
People are dying.
Try to remain calm.
This whole damn town's infected.
Dustin Hoffman.
Spreading like a brush fire.
We can't stop it. Rene Russo. Donald Sutherland.
36 hours, 48 hours.
Morgan Freeman.
It's out of our hands now. If you see this monkey, call this number.
Outbreak. Premieres Saturday, March 2nd on HBO.
The Eagle is back. Lou Gossett Jr. Iron Eagle 4. Premieres Sunday, February 18th.
Tonight, it's on HBO. At 7:30, Robin Williams brings The Bard to the Schoolyard. Shakespeare, The Animated Tales, The Taming of the Shrew. At 8, to reach outer space, you need the right vehicle. Ted Danson's Pontiac Moon. And at 9:45, Oh Captains, My Captains, Patrick Stewart, William Shatner, Star Trek Generations. The Taming of the Shrew, Pontiac Moon, and Star Trek Generations. Something special's on tonight.
The following movie is rated PG-13.
You smell that? You smell that? Nothing else in the world smells like that, son. I love the smell of napalm in the morning. You know, one day we had a hill bomb. When I waked up, we didn't find one of them, not one stinging ding body. But that smell, that gasoline smell, the whole hill smelled like victory.
Next on HBO. This turbocharged muscle car didn't roll out of Detroit. It roared out of hell to seek revenge on a gang of hot rod killers. The Wraith. Something special's on next.
If you weren't there last time when HBO discovered the 3 future heavyweight champs of the world, you'll want to be here this time. Night of the Young Heavyweights, live. Coming in March, only on HBO.
When an iron hand is needed.
Well, they're high-spirited, that's all.
When lives are at stake.
You kids, sir. Shoot.
When every second counts.
Got company.
There's one man to turn to. The Eagle is back. Lou Gossett Jr. The HBO world premiere movie, Iron Eagle 4, premieres Sunday, February 18th on HBO.
Tonight, it's on HBO. At 7:30, Robin Williams brings The Bard to the Schoolyard, Shakespeare, The Animated Tales, The Taming of the Shrew. At 8, to reach outer space, you need the right vehicle, Ted Danson, Pontiac Moon. And at 9:45, Oh Captains, My Captains, Patrick Stewart, William Shatner, Star Trek Generations. The Taming of the Shrew, Pontiac Moon, and Star Trek Generations. Something special's on tonight.
The following movie is rated PG-13.